Well, good day to you all here today. I want to just introduce a question and ask a question. Question of the day today would be about whether you are patient or impatient. I want to ask the question because some people might say, well, I'm a patient person. Yes, I'm a patient person because look at the people I live with. Look at, my family, the people that sometimes they drive me up the wall. But yes, I'm a patient person. And you might say, well, yes, look at this. I let them play their music in the house. I let them do their things. I might have children and I'm very patient with them. I'm a good person. You might say, well, when I'm queuing up for something, if I'm waiting for the bus, I'm very patient. I'm okay. I'll let people take their turns. I'm not an arrogant kind of person. I'm even patient enough to listen to that bloke who's speaking in the street, perhaps. You might think, well, I've got to be patient to listen to him. But then you might say, well, no, there's some things in which I'm impatient. I'm not a patient person. There are things that annoy me. I always want things to happen soon. I want to be able to, if I want something, I want it to happen now. If I might be looking, I might want to phone someone, and if they're not picking up the phone, I might be annoyed that they're not talking to me. So there may be times when you feel impatient. You might be thinking, that speaker in the street, I really can't stand him. I don't want to listen to him. I can't bear listening to him anymore. So you're impatient. So there's things in which we are patient, things where we might be impatient. But here's another question we could ask. I want to ask a question not just about you, but what do you think about God? Do you think God is patient, or do you think he's impatient? Do you think, that's a good question. What do you think about the nature of God? What is he like? You might say, well, God is patient actually because, things happen normally in the world. The sun's risen again today. He's very nice to you and me. He lets us get on with our lives. He doesn't seem to bother with us. God is patient. He sends us the sunshine and the rain. He gives us food, all the regular seasons we have of the year. God, when people curse him and say all kinds of bad things about him, he doesn't act to bring judgment straight away, does he? So God must be patient, perhaps. But then some people say, no, God is impatient. God is angry. Look at all the problems in the world. Look at the natural disasters. It shows that God is not patient. He doesn't like us. He doesn't love us. God doesn't care for me. God has no time for me. He doesn't let me do what I want. He's just angry. God punishes people. He's not nice. You might say he's impatient. He's not as nice as I am, you might say. God is bad. Well, have you ever thought about that? But my other question is God actually patient with me? What does he think of you? Have you ever thought about that? Is God being patient with you in your life? What has he done for you? Have you ever asked that question? You've lived your life for a number of years, decades perhaps, and God has allowed you to do that. He's allowed you to get up every day, to have good things. He gives you food. Many times you may have offended God. You may have done wrong things. You may have sinned, but he hasn't punished you. He hasn't given you some terrible illness or anything like that. He hasn't judged you yet. He's provided for you in your life. He's given you money. He's given you enough things to survive to this day, to be healthy enough to come out here in Wigan and enjoy this sunny day. God has been patient with you. But then you might say, well, God is impatient with me. He doesn't care. There's been problems in my life. I've had an accident or I've had a bereavement. God has shown me he's not patient, But the point is actually, really, God is very patient, and he has been with you for many years. He is with all of us. God is patient, and he's still waiting. And the point is, God is patient with us. In fact, he's very patient. God could come and cause many disasters. He could end the world tomorrow. But the Bible tells us that God is patient with us. He says that God so loved the world that he gave his only son, that whoever should believe in him should not perish, but have everlasting life. You see, the point is that God does not want us to perish. God has been very patient with you and I. He's allowed you to live for so long. And why is he patient with us? God is patient with us so that the Bible tells us that God is patient with us so that we can turn to him. That's what he wants. He's been very patient with you in your life. He's given you years of good health. He's given you many good things in life. He has been patient with you so that to give you a chance to turn to him. And I want to know, have you ever thought about that? Have you ever said, God is actually patient with me so that I can turn to him? How long are you going to let him wait? He won't wait forever. Sooner or later, your time will be up. But he's been very patient with you, extremely patient, so that you are able to have the chance to turn to him. My question to you today would be, how patient of you? How patient would you be to wait for someone to turn to you? How patient would you be to offer your love to someone if it was not requited? Would you be as patient as God has been with you for all your life? So when are you going to turn to him? When are you going to recognize he's been very patient with you and that he loves you so much that you should respond to his love in Jesus Christ? So that's the question I want to ask you and leave you with today. Thank you for listening.